The United States has decided to isolate itself from the global fight for a coronavirus vaccine, with the Trump administration arguing that it doesn't want to be constrained by the World Health Organization and by multilateral groups that are working together. We're talking about hundreds of countries to combat this virus, which doesn't really understand or care about borders, for instance. So the US pulled out of the World Health Organization in early July, and we're already seeing some of the consequences of that. As the Associated Press reports, some nations have worked directly to secure supplies of vaccine, but others are pooling efforts to ensure success against a disease that has no geographical boundaries. More than 150 countries are setting up the COVID-19 Vaccines Global Access Facility, also known as COVAX. So the cooperative effort linked with the World Health Organization would allow nations to take advantage of a portfolio of potential vaccines to ensure their citizens are quickly covered by whichever ones are deemed effective. The World Health Organization says even governments making deals with individual vaccine makers would benefit from joining COVAX because it would provide backup vaccines in case the ones being made through bilateral deals with manufacturers aren't successful. And as Representative Amy Barra says, and she is a medical professional, joining COVAX is a simple measure to guarantee US access to a vaccine, no matter who develops it first. This go it alone approach leaves America at risk of not getting a vaccine. And listen, if Donald Trump did a decent job in responding to this pandemic, and we saw the effectiveness of his approach, then maybe there would be a little bit of trust toward what he's doing in pulling out of the World Health Organization. But this country has been honestly a unique failure when you consider the resources we have in responding to this crisis. So let's take a look at Trump's failure gap. That is the difference between the United States and the European Union when it comes to the number of COVID deaths and cases. So as you can see in July, that gap was much, much bigger. But even now, I mean, when you take a look at this, on the August 23rd, numbers, the updates, it shows that the United States is ebbing, but it's still 3 times the second wave experienced by the EU. Like, we've been such failures at this. If you look at the specific numbers in the United States pertaining to the coronavirus, we have 6.09 million confirmed cases, and we already have 185,000 deaths. And if you look at the number of deaths per capita, the United States is pretty high up there in that list. You have Peru, Chile, and Brazil as the top 3. And again, these are deaths per 100,000 people. The United States, though, is 4th. And that does not look good, again, when you consider the wealth and the resources we have in this country and how Donald Trump managed to screw this up so much.
Yeah, and not joining that international compact would be a bad strategy if your goal was to get access to reliable supplies of a safe, tested vaccine when it becomes available and is tested to the extent that multiple countries would feel comfortable giving it to its citizens. If that was your goal, then not joining this would seem to be a bad thing for you. Arguably, they have a different goal. Because I mean, I'm sure many people have seen, we were talking about during one of the breaks, they've already sent out messages from the CDC to state governors telling them to change whatever regulations and rules are necessary to prepare for distribution of a vaccine in late October or by November 1st. Is that because there's been huge advances that we're hearing about, that we're right on the cusp of getting a safe vaccine? No, not at all. But they're getting ready to make a big announcement. And whether the vaccine is safe or was tested, or they actually have a deal to purchase it, or they actually can get the supplies necessary to spread it, that's all an interesting question. But they're definitely going to announce it no matter what.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And they're planning on doing it close to November. I wonder why.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.